have a quick confession to make. I am a glutton for self-help. I know that a lot of people can't stomach self-help. They think that it's a little bit over the top and pretty fruity, but that also happens to be me, so it works out well. Now, not to get too defensive here, but I love this stuff. I think that self-help is excellent. I think the fact that somebody has sat down and put in hundreds of hours into writing a book that is designed just to make you a better person or more effective at what you do, I think that is an extremely noble intent, and I think that a ton of value can actually be gained from this, because the people who write these books, sometimes they're just charlatans, sure, but oftentimes they're absolute studs and people who make a big impact on other people's lives. So I think there's a lot to be gained from reading self-help. But if you're not into self-help, worry not. What I'm going to be doing over the next 12 months is I'm going to read the 12 best-selling self-help books of all time. I'm going to be putting into action as much as I can the lessons that they teach in each of these self-help books, and then I'm going to report back. I'll tell you what I thought about the book at first glance, and I'll tell you about the lessons and how I feel that it can actually impact your life.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back to my channel where I make videos largely based around books, habits, and health. Over the span of the next 12 months, I'm going to be mending all three of these interests into a monthly series where I read and put into action some of the best-selling self-help books of all time. Now, what I'm going to vow to do at the beginning of this project is I vow not to let this self-help become shelf-help. Through the span of my entire life, I've read a lot of self-help books that I took nothing away from. And recently I read a book that said, if you actually want to appreciate what the author is writing in a practical book, and if you actually want to have an opinion on it, you need to put into action what it tells you to do. And that's exactly what I intend to do over the next 12 months. So I spent an embarrassing amount of time looking online for a list of the best-selling self-help books of all time, and the best resource that I found was actually off this website called Project Bold Life. So over the span of the next 12 months, I'm going to be starting with the first most popular book, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. 80 million copies sold. This is something that's been on my reading list for quite some time, but I've never gotten around to it. Then I'm going to go on to The Alchemist, which, fun fact, is my most read book of all time. I've actually listened to the audiobook 4 times, and I've read the physical copy twice, so I'm intimately familiar with this book, but I am going to be revisiting it. So another thing about The Alchemist is that it isn't a traditional self-help book. It's an allegory, which basically means that it illustrates how to address difficult situations in your life through story. So for The Alchemist and any book like this on the list, I'm going to be trying to live by the principles that, in this case, Santiago follows throughout his journey and what helps him actually progress further and become a better human being. After that, we're going to be going on to You Can Heal Your Life. 50 million copies sold. I've never even heard of this book before, but my interest is piqued. Number 4 is Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I have read before, but I think is definitely worth revisiting. I was anticipating this book coming up in the top 12 self-help books, and I'm so excited that it did, because this is an excellent book. After that, we're going to be going on to The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a book I definitely should have read by now, but you know, in 5 months I will, so there we have it. Then we're gonna have Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff. Number 7 is Who Moved My Cheese? Number 8 is The Celestine Prophecy. Number 9 is The Secret, which I already have a little bit of a bias against because I've heard a lot of bad things about The Secret, but I'm gonna try to keep as open of a mindset as I possibly can going into The Secret. We'll see. After The Secret, we're gonna be moving on to The Power of Positive Thinking, which from what I understand is going to be talking about a lot of the same principles that The Secret does. Maybe it'll be a little bit more palatable for me or easier to take down, but we'll see in 10 months. After that, I'm going to be reading a book that I've never heard of again called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And then to cap it off, an absolute banger with How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, one of my 5-star books, and I cannot wait to get around to it again. I am stoked to be indulging in my obsession with self-help books, and I hope that my deep dives into each of these 12 books proves useful to you. Also, one more thing before I go is self-help isn't the only genre I read, so if you have any book recommendations for me, please leave them down in the comments below, because I will need something to kind of counterbalance all the self-help that I'm going to be reading. Maybe some fiction recommendations if you have them. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you stick with me through the next 12 months. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.